friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Bella. I'm a part-time reseller on eBay and Poshmark. I hope you all had a fabulous Thanksgiving with friends and family, and it just went so fast. I'm sure you guys feel that way too. 5 days off with my kids was great. They're at that age now where they just, want to go and do it all and see their friends. And so I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving with your family. I did. Let's get into everything that's sold. So I did have some items go out on Black Friday that you won't see in this, but I had a total of 7 eBay sales, 2 Poshmark sales. At the end of the video, I will share with you my profit from these items, all an estimate, but I just give you guys a general idea of what a part-time reseller makes from selling primarily used clothing, and even more primarily lately from the Goodwill bins. So, okay, let's get started. So I got this sweater over the summer. Would you believe I pulled this cream white sweater out of the bins? This was actually my last trip to the Pittsburgh bins in North Versailles. I have not been there since August. So this has been listed a while. I had a feeling it would not sell until the colder months hit. This is Abercrombie and Fitch. I have an unreasonable, maybe not unreasonable, fear of I typically do not pick up white stuff. I would say out of 100 items, you may see 3 items of white. I'm always so nervous to get a white item dirty, but I pulled this out of the bins. I knew it would be good. It is a size large. It retailed for $70. So it's really cute turtleneck. Perfect for this time of year. I could see somebody wearing this as a holiday sweater with a pair of boots, maybe taking some snow pictures. So this was a great find at the Pittsburgh bins. Like I said, took a little while to sell, but that's good. Or it's not good. I mean, I knew it would sell eventually, and I figured it would be wintertime. So this sweater sold, it was new with tags, sold for $36.75. This was an eBay sale. My estimated profit, $22.08. So very good. I'm happy with that. I'm happy it's going out the door, and I've kept it under lock and key so nothing could ever touch it. I put it away I'm like, oh my gosh, it's white. And it's funny because my kids know I'm anti-white, clothing and things, even for my daughter. So, she knows she loves to pick out white stuff and, white shoes and white jackets and all these things. And I'm just the first time something spills on that, it is done. But, I should be able to get all this stuff the stains out, and I do a pretty good job. But, if I'm going to spend the money on something, I like to be, very careful with the items. So that is awesome. That was a really good profit. Happy with that. And that's something that I have noticed more by shopping at the Goodwill bins. I've had a higher profit margin because the items are a lot cheaper than regular thrift stores. So this was a fun sale. This was from a church sale. So I had about $1 into this. This is the brand Snap. I got an offer for this, or maybe I sent an offer, but it's a vintage Snap dress, one shoulder dress. I just could see this being worn to a wedding, a winter wedding, or New Year's Day or New Year's Eve party. So very cute. I don't think I picked up Snap before. This was really strictly a pickup based solely on just the fact that it was vintage, one shoulder, and it had this little flower here. So I'm oh, this is perfect. Somebody's gonna love this. It was a good size. It's a size 16. Did I show Snap? Snap, crackle, and pop. I don't know. So, all right, this is heading out the door. It sold for $21. And like I said, I had about $1 into this from a church sale. So my estimated profit, $18.99. Now, some of these items have a little bit of overage from the shipping charges, shipping, depending on where it's going. I do all ground advantage shipping, and I also do primarily, it is, well, all in my eBay store, it's calculated shipping. So eBay tells me or tells the buyer what they have to pay to ship it to them, and then they do, and then I ship it. And sometimes you get a little bit of overage for the shipping, which is nice because, you know, we all make mistakes. Sometimes, you know, you undercharge for shipping, especially when you're new. I still sometimes do that. So I like to use the calculated shipping. So, all right, this is heading out the door today. What is next? Okay, these pajamas were an awesome pickup. So I have a favorite winter local thrift store, and that's what I will refer to it as when I'm talking about it. And it's primarily, I call it my favorite winter thrift store because I almost never get there in the summer, and it has very limited hours. And so, but they have like, it's basically a church thrift store. And so the parishioners and other people in the area, it's close to a big college in the area. So they get a lot of donations, and they get a lot of good donations, in my opinion, from the people that go to the church. So it's usually I try to make it out there twice a month or so. It's a little bit of, not much of a haul, but it's a little ways away from me. So, okay. So I came across these 2 weeks ago at my favorite winter thrift store. New with tag, pink, Victoria's Secret pajamas, size medium. These were originally marked as $60, so really good. I just knew these would sell quickly. I don't like to pay up. You guys know. Who likes to pay up for things? I mean, had these not been new with tags, I would not have picked them up because my cost of goods on these were $6, but they're new with tags. And it's the holiday season. They're plaid, they're fleece. I knew that these were going to sell quickly. So I hurried up, I got home, I listed them pretty much right away, and they took about 2 weeks to sell. So they sold on eBay for $44.25. They did use a coupon, but even after my cost of goods, the estimated profit here, $24.51. One thing I love about my favorite winter thrift store is I do come across a fair amount of new with tag items that are not typically super overpriced. These being only $6, I'm thinking that they might have, I think they probably should have, like, you know, listed or had them for sale for like 10 maybe. But I don't know. Sometimes, like at this particular thrift store, I don't always understand exactly where they get their pricing from. Like I was there today, for example, and they had a pair of Vineyard Vines men's pajama pants, or it might have been women's, and they were $10 new with tags. But these, like a nice set, you know, Victoria's Secret, $6. I don't know, maybe they have, and there's been different things. There's been like, I've gotten a J. Crew 100% wool blazer there, and it was only $6, but then, you know, they'll have a jacket or something random for just $24 that is a no-name brand that nobody knows. So I don't know who's pricing it. Sometimes I wish that they had, well, maybe not, I don't know. Maybe for like, if I was working there, I'd be like, we need a little bit of help here with the whole pricing thing, but really good find and really quick sale. So very happy with that. Just a reminder, just new with tag items this time of year. If you can find them locally in the thrift store for a reasonable price, now is the time. People are looking. I mean, I had a good amount of new with tag items sell. Well, yeah, like 4 or 5 of these items are new with tag. Okay, next up is Cyrus. This is a very cute sweater. I had to think, I believe this came from a church sale. The more I thought about it, I believe this came from my fall church sale that I love. The MSRP on this, $80, $79, so almost $80. This is so soft. This is like, and there's sometimes I'll be like, oh, this has to be like cashmere, this has to be something. And it ends up being just like, not that, and it's not cashmere, but it is so soft, new with tags. So what I'll say about Cyrus is I don't pick it up a lot. I was picking it up, and what happens is it sits around for me for quite a while. Like this I would have gotten in September, so it's December, so it sat for a little bit. This was a Poshmark sale, but Cyrus new with tags, and typically their larger sizes do better. So I will just flat out at a thrift store walk right past Cyrus, unless it's new with tags and I'm getting it for a screaming deal. So, and that was the case with this. Everything at this church sale was 50 cents to $1. And at this particular church sale that I go to twice a year, they do typically end up having quite a bit of new with tag items just mixed in with all their stuff. So it's usually a good, it's almost always a good sale for me. So Cyrus, if it's new with tags, I would say get it. I mean, I can't believe like $80 for this sweater, but I believe it's also like ends up at Marshall's and TJ Maxx a lot. So, all right. So it sold for $25 on Poshmark after my fees and the cost of goods. My estimated profit, $18.21. So that was a good pickup. And you guys know mall brands and Pennies, JCPenney's, Kohl's, Macy's, things like that. I do love I love the most to pick it up at the bins. Well, and church sales too. You can't really beat $1 for an $80 sweater. But those, like, I love to pick up bread and butter brands, mall brands, when they're new with tags, because they will sell. You know, I try to stay away from like petite sizes a lot, but you know, I'm trying to branch out a little, and you know, so we'll see. When I find good things, you know, I might get it. But the thing I love, like bins in the church sales, it's such, you know, like especially at church sales, they're not marking up items, at least at the church sales I go to, just because they're new with tags. Now, somewhere like my favorite winter thrift store, they will mark it up because it's new with tags, or they won't because they just don't. But sometimes they do, and I don't know. Okay, these are next up. These are pajama pants. I highly recommend you guys remember this brand. This is my second pair of their pajama pants. They are, let me make sure I'm saying it, Pajamas by Sudera. So I don't exactly know where these are sold. I think if you guys do, let me know. I have now found this pair came from the bins. I did find one local to me, and they just felt different. They looked unique. And so I looked them up, and sure enough, I'm like, wow, these pajama pants are, you know, really nice. Here's on the back. And so something to look for, and this was the same for the other pair that I sold, is on the bottoms of the pants, they usually have these like unique designs. Like the other pair I sold had this as well. It's like a ribbon material at the bottom, makes them like really unique. This was also a great size. These are 2XL. So these sold on eBay for $24. And I'm assuming they used a coupon and all that stuff. So my estimated profit, $15. So Pajamas. Remember that, because it's definitely worth a look up when you found it. And I'm pretty sure the other pair that I had was not even a plus size, but these did really awesome. I have not had them too long. They came from the bins probably within the last month. So that is a good brand to remember. You know, I don't know if you guys do this. I put like little notes in my phone just to remember brands that sell well for me. There's just so many brands. I don't even know how, it's just crazy to me how many brands there are out there. And that's why we're always learning. And, you know, it's good too, because Google Lens is so helpful for resellers. If you're not using Google Lens, 9 times out of 10, I will go to Google Lens before I will even go to eBay to check it, because Google typically knows what it is. And it's just really awesome. It's something that I wish even 10 years ago, when I really started doing sales on eBay even more, after I became a mom. I wish I would have had that opportunity to me. And you know, you'd have to look everything up, and you know, now you can just snap a quick picture and it'll tell you the brand, it'll tell you the name. So I just absolutely love that about Google Lens, and it's super easy. Just take a picture, and if you're on an Apple phone, you can usually just swipe up and it'll ask you if you want to search Google. And that's what I do. So, okay. This is Patagucci. No, I've heard other people say Patagucci. This is Patagonia, gray fleece. What size is this? Now I'm like, this is a large. I forgot I had this. You know, when you do this, like, you know, I have over 1,000 items in my store, and sometimes something will sell. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember that. But I forgot I had this, and I went to, like, I often, if I get an offer, I think it's just panic mode. If you guys do this sometimes, like if you forget about something, I'm like, I gotta go check my inventory and make sure I have it before I accept an offer. But you know, since going to a box system with shelves and totes, I've done so much better with all of that. So this was a $1 pickup at either a church sale or a yard sale. I had $1 written down. So that means that it came from a church sale or it came from a yard sale. I'm assuming it was probably a church sale. So this sold for $23.99. My estimated profit, $20.47. So this is heading out today. Patagonia, when I find it, I look it up. I don't think it's like, let me know. I have done, over the past couple of months, I've sold a good amount of Patagonia because I've actually found it. Typically in my area, I don't find it very often, but I got lucky in early September, found 2 pairs of Patagonia men's shorts, which sold in like record time. Like both pairs had sold within 2 weeks. And then my first bins, like really nice Patagonia find, I found maybe a month ago and also sold quickly, was a long sleeve flannel Patagonia. So be on the lookout. And I also, if you guys aren't following me on Facebook, I do more of a daily up-to-date on like, you know, just what's going on and reselling, what I'm selling, what I'm finding. But I went to my local Goodwill on Sunday and they had just a basic Patagonia shirt for $10. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I wasn't sure. Like, Patagonia had been doing well for me, and I was fresh off the heels of this Patagonia item selling. So does that ever happen to you guys where like you'll sell something in a brand and you're like, oh, now everything's gonna sell in this brand. I have to pick it all up, but not for $10. I'm really, like, it's hard stretch now for me to spend more than $3 to $5 on something unless I know for sure it's going to sell well. So Patagonia, not everything, like I said, not everything is worth, you know, a pickup, but I definitely recommend with Patagonia, just checking the comps, looking it up, using that Google Lens, because that'll help you for sure. Okay, so you probably, if you watched my bins haul from last week, I got these Arctic men's snow pants. So I expected that these would sell quickly. The one thing was they weren't worth as much as I thought they would be worth. I mean, I did look these up and there were kind of like, there were prices around like $18 to $35. So they weren't, you know, totally super, like I was gonna make a lot of profit off of these, but new with tags, snow pants, we're in the season. So if I had found these in July at the bins and I was looking at the comps at the time, I probably would have waited, not gotten them, but because it was last week, so it would have been like the last couple of days of November, snow was coming, people are gonna be looking for snow pants. I knew these would be a quick sell, and they were. So I did receive an offer for $15 and I decided to take it. I was very happy with that. My estimated profit, $10.84 after the fees, cost of goods, all that jazz. So very happy to get these out the door. And that's just another example of like, these were in a bin that people had already looked through and it didn't say Patagucci on it. No, I don't know. It just, sometimes it just surprises me how much like everybody's looking for different things. I mean, sure, we're looking, some of us are like, if we all found like, you know, what's something like a super nice Patagonia jacket, long, and yeah, sure, there's going to be more than one person that is probably going to want to pick that up. But there's a lot of stuff that, you know, you can still make a good profit on. I mean, I'm happy to make $10.84 and had it listed for less than a week. So that's worth it to me, because you start getting, especially when you're going to the bins, you rack up, you know, 3-4 of these sales. Like I spent $80 last week. It was like 41 pounds. So, you know, I would essentially only need to sell 8 of those items when I've got like 60 of them, and I would be into profit. So that is just, and if Old Man Winter will just stay away so I can go to the bins, because it is a little bit of a drive for me, then I will be happy all winter long, because I'm going into the thrift stores and I'm trying, but they're just, it's pricey. It is very, very pricey if you're not going to the bins. And I don't know how they do it, but they keep rolling out new bins every 30 minutes, and it's good. I've never gone to the bins and been like, oh, this wasn't worth my time. I will, like, I've read on other forums and things like that about the Goodwill bins. Like, some people just are like, oh, this is not worth my time. But it's worth somebody's time, because the bins that I go to, I've been going usually once a week since my kids went back to school in August. And I see about the same 15 people almost every time I go. So they're making it. So, and that would be me. I would probably be there like 3 times. Okay, I don't know. I'd be there a lot. I doubt they will ever put a Goodwill bins in my area, but if they did, I'd be in a lot of trouble, because I'd be there a lot. Or maybe I wouldn't, I don't know. It would just, my business would be even more great, honestly, because you just cannot beat the prices. Have I told you guys how much I love the bins? No. I have to laugh at myself, because I'm like, you would think I work for Goodwill. I don't. I just, because the retail stores, my mom said to me the other day, she's like, every time you go to the regular Goodwill store, you're always like, why did I go here? Well, part of the reason was I went to my regular Goodwill over the weekend, and I read, like, I thought that all yellow tags were 99 cents. And it turns out it was all yellow tags were 50% off. So I came up with a bunch of yellow items thinking, oh, it's only $1. This will be a little cheaper. You know, I didn't have to drive to the bins. And they were like, no, these are 50% off. I'm like, so I did end up putting a few things back, and I kept, you know, put a few things back, kept a few things, but that's where I'm just like, why do I go? I get so mad sometimes. Okay, the North Face vest, really cute. So if you watched any of I have some shorts and things on Facebook and here on YouTube as well. This jacket, this vest came with $4 in the pocket. So I was already like into profit on this item. I was thinking to myself, so if I add the $4, so this sold for $18. This was eBay. My estimated profit after fees, cost of goods, $16.18 plus $4. So yeah, this was cool. I had never found money in anything other, you know, maybe a quarter here and there. Never found money in something, but this was really exciting. I just went up and I could, you know, I'm just feeling, I don't wear gloves at the bins. I need to be able to feel the textures of things. And, you know, money just has that feel. Even in this pocket, I'm like, that is money. So I went through and I'm like, oh, $4. Yes, I could get myself a Coke or something on the way home. That's usually what I treat myself to on the drive home from the bins, is a Coke. I don't know why. I don't drink a lot of pop, but I really like a Coke here and there. And it just feels so good to drink a Coke right after being at the bins. And I should probably drink water, but I don't know. It's good. And like, I don't know if you guys think this as well, but McDonald's has like the best Cokes. Those are like my favorite. I think it's well known. My husband told me once that some way that they deliver like Coke does something different for McDonald's because they're well known for their Coke, like the drink there that everybody loves it. So I don't know. I don't remember exactly what he said. I don't know if maybe it stays in a certain container, like a metal container or something, rather than like the box. Because when I used to work at a restaurant. Our Coke would come in like a syrup, and then you would put a tube in it and it came in a big box, and then it would just go to the machine. But they do something different at McDonald's, and it really does taste different. If you get a Coke from McDonald's and you get it somewhere else, just try it. I'm telling you, it is better from McDonald's. Who knew? Who knew? Okay, so yeah, I'm into profit on this. I knew it would sell quickly, and I am picking up more North Face right now because 'tis the season, and this vest didn't even weigh a pound. So this was a great pickup. And personally, I have also a North Face vest, and I love it. I wear it all the time in weather that's like not too snowy, but a little snowy, but I don't want to get too hot. I don't know. So, okay. This is Knox Rose. I really like picking up Knox Rose at the bins. I love Knox Rose dresses. I did pick up a Knox Rose cardigan over the weekend, and I got to get that listed still, but especially at the bins, Knox Rose, I've been picking up like their shirts. I have quite a few, like I feel like within the last week, I know I've sold 2 Knox Rose shirts within the last week. One was a long sleeve, this one's a short sleeve. The dresses, I have, the bigger the sizes, large and above, typically sell pretty quickly for me and around like $25. And I also really, really, really love the cardigans. So keep an eye out. I do like Knox Rose. My bag is too big. All right, well, it is what it is. So this sold on Poshmark, and I got it at the bins, one of my trips probably within the last month or so. So it sold for $15 on Poshmark, and after fees and cost of goods, my estimated profit, $11. So very happy with that. You know, most of my profit, well, it's gotten a little bit better, like I said, since I've been doing the bins. And you probably see that if you watch my videos frequently, that my profit margin has been going up because of the great deals that I'm getting. And so yeah, but I profit most of my items between $10 and $20. So, you know, you just sell a few and you're gonna start getting into profit here. So, and the bins are great when there's not church sales this time of year, because there's not church sales, and at least in my area this time of year. Maybe where you're from, there's no garage sales because nobody's doing a garage sale in the snow. So those will be back too, and I'll probably lessen the amount of time that I'll be going to the bins when summer hits. I probably will not go to the bins very much. Maybe, but there's a lot of opportunity in my area for yard sales and, church sales during that time of year. So right now though, it just pays to stock up. And I say that when I go back, I'm going to stock up again, because you never know when the next winter snowstorm is coming in my area. So, all right. So that's everything. It was 7 eBay, 2 Poshmark sales. My estimated profit, $157.28. So thank you, friends, for hanging out with me. Again, I hope you've been enjoying your family over these past couple of days and getting stuff done. I know my husband painted our bedroom over the holiday weekend, and, getting all these things done, house stuff, and still making sure I'm getting some thrift trips in. And yeah, it was great. It's been a great holiday. I am really wanting to go to the bins, so we'll see what happens in the next couple of days. You'll know if you see a video pop up that I went to the bins. So thank you, friends. Thanks for hanging out. If you like videos like this, I put about 2 to 5 videos out per week, all about what's selling on eBay, Poshmark, what I'm picking up at church sales, estate sales, rummage sales, yard sales, the bins, anywhere the sales are, I'm there. So thank you. Subscribe to my channel, like the video, and, send this to a friend, because thrifting is better with friends. Have a great day, friends, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.